Now I think we're going to go to our question section, and I'd like to invite Sinem and Maya back on, and we would love to take some questions from people. So, um, yeah, I think Maya, I think you might have had a question, Maya, that you thought people were wondering about.
Uh, Somebody asked me once, actually, in many of my programs, people keep asking all the time, uh, how did I start volunteering in Maywood? How was I hooked at Maywood?
Mhm.
So, like I told you before, I get to Maywood first time when my child started kindergarten, and we were brand new in Canada, and we did not know anyone. My daughter did not have an opportunity to go to preschool because we couldn't afford the preschool at that time. And mind you, new generations, that was a time before Google, before that you go click, 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 and then you know everything. At that time, it was an old fashioned way that you ask people or you don't know anything. So when I went to Maywood, when my daughter went to Maywood, first few days, thank God, everything was okay. And it was much better than I expected. So could breathe a little bit and I felt so strong. And then on the fourth day, Mr. George came out to see the parents and she said, moms and dads, we went through this first week with flying colors and we are ready to celebrate. So tomorrow, you can come pick them up half an hour early. And if you want to celebrate, you can also bring some cupcakes to share. Whoa. So I am not a big baker, to tell you everyone, but I can bake. But you know what? My English was good, but cupcake, I never heard for such a thing. So then my scientific mind kicked in and it says, okay, let's dissect that. And so I said, okay, cup and cake. So it could be a cake that looks like a cup, of course. But what are you going to put in that cake? So I was standing there thinking, oh my God, now what am I going to do? And then I saw a young woman standing there and her child went to Maywood as well. So she looked very Canadian to me. So that means she was relaxed. Not that she didn't look worried. She had a big smile on her face. She was very friendly. So I said, yeah, that's a Canadian. So let's go ask this one. I went to her and I said, okay, can you please help me out a little bit with this cake or whatever thing? And she said to me, oh, yeah, sure. Cupcake is a very traditional Canadian recipe, and everybody needs to know how to do it. That's really important for you to settle in. Okay, I thought, so can you show me how to do it? Yes, she said, I'm going to bring you the recipe and I'm going to explain to you in details. Ooh, I was really worried until we come back to pick up our kids. Here comes the woman with the box, and from Superstore, like a simple box. And then she said, this is the cupcake. So inside is the ingredients. On the back side, it's a recipe. You mix all of it, you bake it. Here you go. And that's how I got my friend. And her name is Melody. Thank you, Melody, forever. And then we went inside, and after that, we talked about that to our teacher, to our daughter's children teacher. And her name was Doreen, and she said, "Oh my God, I never thought that I'm gonna, make you so worried or whatever." So I didn't want to worry her. I said, "That's okay. I'm so happy to learn about this cupcake thing." And that's how she hooked me into volunteering. She said, "You guys should now teach everybody else about the big tradition that Canada has, and it's called cupcake." That's how it started. And it's
Oh,
still going
thanks,
on.
Maya. That's a great story. I love it. That reminds me, just going back to Sangeeta's question about volunteering at schools. I was thinking about during COVID, but normally, just like you were saying, Maya, a great way to begin, I would suggest, is connecting with your child's teacher. and letting that teacher know and asking, how can I help you? And that's a really nice thing, even if it's cutting things out at home, things that the teacher doesn't necessarily have to be the one to do. That's a really good way to start. And most teachers are very, very happy to take you up on that. We had a couple more questions. I see Doris Moss saying hello. Hello, Doris. We have a question, Maya, about maybe Tamaya is the best person to ask this question. How do people register for Burnaby Family Life parenting programs?
Well, that's not difficult at all.
Okay.
I mean, it is on internet right now, but it's really easy. We have a website, bflgrowthcommunity.org, and you can for sure find it in somewhere in the reference. I hope that they are going to put it in the reference. So you can see all programs there, and you can click there and register there. It's very easy, and then you can see all of us in April.
That's good.
Thank you.
Thanks, Maya. So there's another question here that is about, this is a really tricky one. I wonder if Sinem, if you wanted to try to answer this one. Someone would like to know, how do they get their shy child to connect? If their child is really shy, I'd love to hear from both of you what you think for young children.
Yeah, I think the child is born with the behavior and with the mind, and it's the child, and you have to accept the child how it is. And if you go and say, oh, go say hi, say thank you, say blah blah blah, and then it's getting more shyer than it is, because you told them to do something what he or she doesn't feel good, and she's not ready for that. But if she see that from their friends, from mommy, from daddy, from grandma, from the neighbor, she will do that by herself. You have not to push her. That's not the right way. You have to wait. It's like tea. If it's ready, it's ready. If not, it's not.
That's beautiful. Maya, I saw you nodding. Maya, do you want to add anything to that?
No, I totally agree with CNM. Temperament. You cannot change your temperament. You just need to learn how to live with it and fit with it. And so I think if we just keep encouraging and modeling is really great for kids. This power of mimicking, actually. They look into your face and they can see if you're relaxed around these people or if you're not, and they just do what you do. So if you take them, if you encourage them by your own behavior, not by pushing them or whatever, and leave time into that, parenting is not a race. It's you should kind of take it slow and enjoy it, stop and smell the flowers sometimes.
Right. And when they're ready, right? Yes. Another, I would just add to also looking again at their strengths, right? We all have things that we like to do. And what is your child most comfortable with? What kind of activities do they feel, and invite someone into their comfort zone, maybe instead of pushing them into someone else's. So I think, again, just thinking about your child and what makes them flourish and feel at their best is a really good way to do it. We have a couple more questions. We have someone talking about other opportunities to volunteer in the community, not just with the school, but also with organizations like the food bank and various charities. That's very, very true. That's a great idea. So it doesn't have to just be at the school. Absolutely. When there's a question about English speaking, and someone is asking, when I don't speak English very well, I feel badly because I can't connect with someone. So what can I do? So any wise words from you, Maya or Sinem?
In my country, we say, keep the eyes closed and go through it. You have to do it, otherwise no connection, nothing. If it's wrong, if it's not the right, I mean, I'm speaking not right as well. I have lots of mistakes in my language, but I try to do that, and I learned in that way. So everyone is learning in that way, trying, do something. If you're not doing something, nothing will come.
Oh, that's a good point. But it takes a lot of courage, and someone I'm sure listening to the stories I've heard over the years, like yours and Maya's and many other people, just coming to a new place takes so much courage already. So
push yourself.
yeah. Anything else, Maya, you want to add to that?
I think, me and Sina, we are really lucky, that we are in Canada, because everybody is, either new here or their parents were new here. So I guess everybody is used to have different language levels and accents and everything around here. So I think it's a good place to be for that. But like you said, like children, they're not shy about their language. They're not shy to say like please and more and whatever. They just do it in their own way. And, making connection is from heart to heart more than from mouth to mouth. And sometimes it's good to keep your mouth shut still, like there is a reason why we have 2 ears and 1 mouth. Oh.
Okay, that's good. My father-in-law always says that. Not to me, of course, but so Kim is asking a question. The question is, how can someone help if they see that clearly someone could use the support, but they are too fearful to accept the help, whether it's a language barrier or pandemic fear or just comfort level? So I think the question is, when we realize we can see someone needs help, but they're not asking for help, what should we do? Should we try to help? Or I would think yes. I think, again, if we make those connections to someone, if we try and bridge the gap, and let people know we see them, we care about them, and how are you doing, and just trying to strike up a conversation, perhaps. I think it's the trust. When that trust is built, that person's going to more likely feel able to open up and ask for help. Or maybe we can offer without them having to ask as well, right? Like sharing something, or if we see that they have trouble, with mobility, or they need extra shopping, we can just take that step and do it. So Kim likes that answer. Thanks, Kim. That's a great question. But I think we can try and look outside ourselves, and and be curious about the other. So we have time for maybe one last question, and we need to wrap up, I think. Or any other comments? Let me see. Oh, this is a big one. This is a big question, so it might be big for the last question, but maybe we can come at it a little bit. The question is, how do you think the pandemic and social distancing is affecting young kids? When we can't meet grandparents and family, what can parents do to help? Any final thoughts on that big, giant question? Yeah, that's on all our minds. Maya or Sinem, anything to
really
give people
hard.
hope? Pardon?
It is really hard,
It is.
For everyone, let alone the young children who are just learning about social connections and everything. I have a young grandchild that I am lucky to keep seeing for most of the time, but if you're not seeing them, you need to use your Zoom, you need to use phone, you need to do anything. You need to make them hear your voice, because you know what, children are isolated a lot. I look at the children in the parks where I play. The kids are not used to play with other kids. They are used to be by themselves or with adults. The children are feeling more comfortable with stranger adults than with strange kids. It's never been like that. It's really different this year. So we need to do everything we can to support them and to make them understand that not everything is scary. We cannot run after them all the time saying, don't touch that, don't go there, don't touch the ball. I mean, you know what? Life is like that. We just need to take a little bit of risk.
Yeah. And if we're distancing and we have our masks,
Yep.
you know, but you know, getting outside again, like you did, Sinem, again. I'm picturing you at the park. So smart. I mean that, and Maya, you said that too. Like get outside, get to the parks,
Yes.
and try and connect that way. And even on Zoom, I mean, we're not together right now, but we are making some really quality connections by looking at each other in the face. We don't even have our masks on, and there's some blessings in that too. So, yeah, I think that's about all the time we have today. Is that right? We thank you so much for everybody, and for being here and all your wonderful questions, and Maya and Sinem, thank you for being on this panel for the questions. And we're going to throw it back to Sangeeta for
Thank
a little
you.
bit more
Thanks so much.
information.
Oh my God, what an amazing session to close this PLE 2021 with. I am so, so grateful to each one of you. I think it was just amazing. And, you know, I had goosebumps throughout listening to each one of you. And I think that is why Vicky was so emotional, because it was, I think, a beautiful, beautiful session. So thank you so much. Thank you for sharing your own experiences. Thank you for sharing the knowledge with all our viewers today. And thank you for all the work you do to build such a connected community here in Burnaby. I am very proud, I'm very lucky, and I feel very privileged because I get to work with these amazing ladies and these beautiful human beings. Thank you, Gayle. Thank you, Sinem, and thank you, Maya. I also want to thank the speakers that we've had for the last 3 Thursdays. I thank you all. I want to thank all our viewers who have been joining us every Thursday at 6:30 p.m. sharp. And we hope you found this helpful, and we hope you got some interesting information, some new knowledge, which you can use in your everyday lives as you look after your family and yourself. Look for resources at bflgrowscommunity.org. All the references, all the books, all the amazing resources that our speakers have shared with you are all over there. We will have our recordings available very soon. And also, I will encourage each one of you to check out bflgrowscommunity.org. Maya already spoke about it, but our registration process for the new parenting programs has begun. And so it's pretty easy. If you have any challenges, our phone numbers are up on our website. Dial in and we'll be happy to answer your questions. These programs start very soon, so don't wait to register. We do fill up pretty quickly. And of course, you will also find all the wonderful family resources at your local Burnaby Public Library. And Vicky, you've done an amazing job in sharing the information about all the different libraries that we have in Burnaby. And thank you. You guys do an amazing job, and we're very lucky to have you. I said it in my very first session that we have, I think, some of the best libraries in the world here in Burnaby. And I think everyone will agree with that. So once again, a reminder, recordings of all our sessions are going to be available, will be posted by the end of the week at bflgrowscommunity.org. And I also want to thank our funders at BC Ministry of Children and Family Development, and everyone who has helped us get the word out about these sessions so we could reach more parents. And so we look forward to reconvening with you next year for the Parenting Learning Event 2022. Stay in touch with us for more details. Thank you, everyone. Have a lovely evening.